On my archer's rant, and it's actually not an archer, it's Debbie Aldridge. That wicked woman, she parachutes herself in from Hungary, full of ideas. You know, she's got 1,000 hectares, 2,000 hectares in Hungary. It's a bit like being in East Anglia, actually. But she's got all that land in Hungary, and she comes in and just dumps all her good ideas. And her latest idea that almost had me off the motorway on Friday was let's have the 1,500 herd farm, the super dairy. And then let's get the archers, let's get their herd in, let's get them all in. And then there was talk about, well, you have 22,000 cows in a shed. This woman is the absolute end of my, absolutely the bottom of my pit of the worst aspect of commoditizing milk. Excuse me, it just gets too ranty around here. Milk, that's not even me. Milk, we heard a little bit from Valentine about how, not all deer are born equal. Not all venison is born equal. There are varieties of deer that give you completely different textures and flavors when you cook it. The same goes for milk. Milk is not a commodity. Milk is a life-giving substance from a cow, by the way. Okay? And last weekend, or 2 weekends ago, I was out in St. David's staying on a campsite. Yeah, I really do camp. I regret it at the time and love it after, the usual camping stories. And I went into the farm shop, and the raw milk was £1 a litre. The bottle of local Brecon Craig or some local weird Welsh water was 60p for 500 ml. So the water was more expensive than that elixir of raw milk. It's all wrong. And it gets much worse because that stupid woman, Debbie, we're talking about, is proposing that we treat, as in America, as in other lands where cows are just part of some agro-industrial landscape, that this milk just gets, this milk is taken into vats and then mixed and then processed and then ends up on the supermarket shelf and lasts a long time on the shelf. Now, milk has taste. From each breed of cow, it tastes different. And last weekend, I had a heavenly moment and the first ever milk taste-off. And I got together a Jersey farmer, a Guernsey farmer, so that's 2 from the Channel Islands, a Frisian Holstein farmer, and a Frisian Montbéliard. And I also got some everyday supermarket milk, and we had a blind taste-off. And you know how milk has been demonized? It says semi-skimmed, or that's much better for you. So what percentage of fat is in semi-skimmed milk? Anybody know? Two thereabouts. What percentage of cream is in, or fat is in, what they call full fat, as if it's some deadly, cardiac busting substance? How much? 4. Actually, it's 3.5 exactly where we are splitting hairs. So it's a low-fat food in the first instance. So what we did was that we had the blind tasting of everyday visitors to this food festival, and I was so delighted because the one that won was the fattiest, tastiest Jersey milk. And they had Jersey cream, raw Jersey cream to taste, and raw Guernsey cream. And do you know what? I couldn't get them to stop making this noise. That's so nice. It was, and it wasn't a question of which one was better, it was just, Now, how many of you drink a glass of milk these days? I bet very few of you do. Because the milk you buy in the supermarkets is largely all homogenized. Is homogenization a good thing? Well, that's what one poor lady said to me. I patrol the supermarkets, keeping an eye out for you lot, okay? Because when I see you reaching up for that milk, I'll stop you. And I'll say, that's a bad choice. And that poor lady was pushing that pushchair with her with her child, and she couldn't reach the top shelf for that milk that's it is organic, I can't say it's supposedly organic, that comes from a certain well-known dairy in the West Country, and there's also an equivalent brand that comes from that certain well-known dairy in Wales. Now, okay, they've done very well over the years, but every single product from those dairies is homogenized. Every single product. So I rang them up, and I said, do you know, I actually rang up and I spoke to somebody really important, the marketing manager or marketing director, and I said, why is all your milk homogenized? And they said, well, because our customers want it that way. Did you vote for, were you given a choice? No. The reason they homogenize milk is that they can then accurately dose milk with exactly the right amount of fat so that they can, or the right amount of cream, so that they can then reserve the cream to make butter and to sell it also as cream. Homogenization has crept upon us like some myxomatosis on the supermarket shelves. Myxomatosis looks bad, and in fact, if you look at that milk on the shelf, it also looks bad because it's white. It isn't yellow anymore. Why? Because they take the fat, they take the cream, and they fire it through a sieve at high pressure, and it smashes up the fat molecules and turns them into mini fat molecules that are then stay in suspension in the milk. Okay? And this, nobody asked us whether this was a good idea for our health, and it's now thought that homogenization of milk is in fact causing more problems rather than less problems in terms of our ability to digest what really is good fat. Cream and butter, these are good fats of high quality. They did this, they crept up on us. Why? Why did they do it? Come on, what are supermarkets doing best? They're not selling great food, strictly speaking. They're great at distribution, or they're making a good job of a weird distribution system, you know, moving potatoes all around the country, moving milk all around the country. But that's what they specialize in. Milk is homogenized to control it for shelf life, for appearance, not for taste. That tasting last weekend proved that homogenized milk is disgusting by comparison with real milk. So what can you do? Because most milk you buy is homogenized now. They didn't ask us, and if the EU or anybody was up against them and said, you know, would you like to please test this before you enforce it upon us, they wouldn't get it through because the testing would take years. It's crept up on us. The only choice you can make now is you can buy Gold Top. Gold Top is a mixture of Jersey and Guernsey milk, and it's still on sale in most supermarkets. That is the only unhomogenized everyday milk you can buy. The only supermarket that sells organic, unhomogenized milk is correct. Absolute winner over here. Make your choices about milk. Each of these milks from each of these breeds taste different. If you are so lucky to live near a farmer who sells from the farm gate or in local farm shops, taste the difference. It's a whole new world. It's like different grapes in wine. It's an extraordinary experience. Rejoice in milk, make good choices, and of course, I'm passionate about it because it goes with, you know, this business that I set up. But please, Debbie Aldridge, go back to Hungary. Just shut up. I don't want to hear any more about 2,000 cows in a shed and all their poo going to make energy. I'd like to see the cows out there eating that grass, producing great milk that you can all enjoy. That's my rant. And that closes today. It's been a little bit shorter than we'd anticipated. I hope you've enjoyed some of the ranters today. Really, thank you for listening. Thank you to the organizers for inviting us. Make good choices. Ask why. Question and enjoy your food.